You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. By going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com, you can make this possible. All right, y'all, let's talk about North Carolina. Today, a 3-judge panel issued a major ruling dealing with the issue of political gerrymandering, a massive 357-page opinion where they have struck down the state's House and Senate seats, saying the state must have until September 18th to redraw all of them in time for 2020. They said it was partisan gerrymandering. Republicans, they have lost. Folks, let me tell you how they've been fighting this. Let me tell you something. There's no more evil and sinister group of Republicans in America than those in North Carolina. These people are pure trash in North Carolina, and how they have tried to upend democracy as best that they could, rewrite the rules, and how they have targeted black folks and others. Well, guess what? This is the 22nd time a state or federal court has ruled in gerrymandering. That shows you what's going on there, folks. Let's go right now to Tomas Lopez, Executive Director of Democracy North Carolina. And Tomas, obviously, this is a huge decision because the Supreme Court ruled that they had really no jurisdiction. They really couldn't get involved in this, basically saying whatever the states decide, it's up to you. Now you have this court in North Carolina saying redraw every single House and Senate race there. For people who don't understand, Republicans have used that power to have a supermajority in North Carolina. This changes the whole ballgame.
That's right. You know, the background here is that we had maps that were drawn in 2011 that were litigated several times. There was a ruling that a federal court came out with a few years ago that said those state House, state Senate maps were unlawful racial gerrymanders. And so in 2017, they had to draw new maps. Those new maps, they said, we are drawing these not for racial purposes, but to favor Republicans over Democrats. They were very explicit in saying this. Even the legislators said it themselves. And these were the maps that were challenged in court. These were the maps that were challenged in this case. And these are the ones that this North Carolina court panel has now said are unlawful under the North Carolina Constitution.
And look, the Democrats control the state Supreme Court. Republicans, again, they tried to even screw that around by trying to they literally tried to take a lot of their power and give it to the court below them, as opposed to them being the highest court in North Carolina. And so what do you think the response from Republicans is going to be?
Well, you know, they've actually already said that they are not going to appeal this ruling. They are not appealing the ruling, and the Senate president has put out a statement saying, we're going to go ahead and draw what they're saying will be nonpartisan maps. Now, what the court has done is they said, listen, you have 2 weeks, General Assembly, to draw new maps, and you have to do it in a public way. And so one of the things that all of us in North Carolina are going to be doing is watching this process, hopefully weighing in as well. But what the court is also doing is appointing a referee, a special master, to help evaluate those maps and, if necessary, draw their own.
And let's be clear here. By the court saying it has to be open because you have had consistent efforts in the past where Republicans have done stuff behind closed doors and literally dropped it in Democrats' lap saying, y'all got 24 hours and then we're going to pass it in 48 hours.
That's right. One of the things that is important here, and it came up during the case, right, were these documents that were from Thomas Hoffler, the former guru who drew many maps around the country and was based here in North Carolina. You know, this feeling they were being cooked up in a back room and presented as a final deal. Here, these maps that are supposed to be drawn in the next couple of weeks, they are supposed to be done in a way where the public is going to have it say, we'll see what that ends up looking like. And again, I wouldn't understate the importance of this special referee, this special master that the court is also going to bring in as well.
And again, last one here for you, Tomas. Again, this was a common cause lawsuit. And I know there was some differences of opinion there because the courts had already ruled on racial gerrymandering. This was political gerrymandering. The case that went to the Supreme Court was one about political gerrymandering. And I know there were people in North Carolina who felt that they should have focused on racial gerrymandering, and that's what gave the Supreme Court an out, if you will, by saying we really can't speak on political gerrymandering.
Right. There have been some lawsuits in North Carolina that just recently, right, and again in the last couple of years, have invalidated districts on the basis of racial gerrymandering. One of the challenges, and I think one of the reasons you've seen these partisan gerrymandering lawsuits, is because what the legislators have attempted to do at times is to say, well, we're not discriminating on the basis of race, we're discriminating on the basis of party. And so that's created this opening to go on and try to pursue a different way. What is really good about today's ruling now is that you now have, under North Carolina law, racial gerrymandering is prohibited and partisan gerrymandering is prohibited. So you've got two potential routes now for challenging maps moving forward.
All right, then. Tomas Lopez, Executive Director of Democracy North Carolina. Congratulations. Again, y'all have been doing an amazing job. You're a nonpartisan group, but you've been trying to get people to understand you can't have Republicans or Democrats trying to stack the deck in that state. If you want to win, do it fair and square, and don't sit here and try to rig the game. And so y'all have been doing some great work, and we really appreciate it. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're on my panel here. Melik, that's a big slap down to your party.
Well, it's to the Republicans in North Carolina.
That's your party.
Well,
are you a Republican?
Yes, but our party is not the party of voter suppression.
Yes, you are.
No, we're
You are the party of voter suppression. What the hell are you talking about? You are the party of voter suppression.
This is what's happening in North Carolina. Our party. That
would you like for me to bring up? I'm sorry. Would you like me to bring up Alabama and Texas
apparatus
and Florida?
Does not have anything about voter suppression in any of the documents. So it's not something.
Really?
While it may be something that Republicans actually do, this is not something that is wholly supported by the Republican Party.
Has the Republican Party spoken out against any of this?
Well,
yes or no?
Not speaking out against something.
No.
Promoting things.
To
that point, the Republican Party. So I'm talking about the Republican
No, I'm asking,
Party.
Melik, has the Republican Party has the Republican Party? Can you even show me a tweet where the Republican Party has actually said that actions in North Carolina are wrong?
Whether it does or not, our party, as a party, does not support voter suppression.
Yes, you do.
No, we do not.
You do it. Wait a minute. You do it in Texas.
No, we do not.
And in Florida.
And
in Maine.
This is not.
No, your party. Kelly, the Republican Party is all about voter suppression.
No, we're not.
Wait a minute. Right now, Democrats are warning people in Ohio. Right now, okay, to double check your status because they're going to purge some 200,000 people. Why? Because Republicans in Ohio came up with the whole deal on how to purge people. A white man sued them because they said, oh, you haven't voted in the last couple of elections, so therefore we're taking your name off the rolls. Went to the Supreme Court. That conservative Supreme Court agreed with Ohio, which now do the purging. The purging of voters in Georgia, largely impacting black voters. That's voter suppression. So again, I can go state by state, Kelly, and show how Republicans and how Romney McDaniel ain't said jack.
So
Trump ain't said jack.
Anything, that means she supports it?
If you don't say nothing, you damn sure agree with it.
Well,
Kelly, go ahead.
Your characterization
Kelly, go ahead.
of it, Roland.
That's not a characterization.
Yes,
that is exactly what it is. So if I don't say that, if I don't agree with something and I don't verbalize anything about it, then it is going to be what it is. So the Republicans aren't saying anything about voter suppression. Instead, they are letting other Republicans suppress votes.
Well, I don't think there's any evidence that the actual political apparatus of the party is allowed that to happen.
Wait a minute.
No,
silence is an action.
Jason, you know what's so funny about this here? There are Republican members from North Carolina. There are Republicans who sit on the Republican National Committee. They ain't said a damn thing about what the Republicans in North Carolina are doing.
Well, has anybody asked them?
Hell yes. Yes.
I gotta say,
yes. Jason, go ahead. I know it's hilarious.
I think number one, we know the Republicans are the party of of voter ID. They're a party of many different efforts to suppress votes. Of course, closing
Stacey
down.
Abrams lost because of all this mess.
No,
Closing
Stacey Abrams
down-
lost because she lost.
No, they closed down.
That's what she likes to say.
Clear-cut
They closed
case of
down
That's what she likes to say.
voting
She's just a
sites
sore loser.
in predominantly black communities. So that was specifically targeted by the Kemp campaign. Now, beyond that, if you are doing the monkey emoji, the monkey, you know what I mean?
Hear no evil.
Then you are actually guilty
Not the monkey
of
emoji.
being complicit.
La 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 la. I hear nothing. La 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 la. I don't want to hear it.
That's just not
how
even a
often
reasonable
do
way
I have to
actually do
hear
that.
from Republicans, whether it's on Sinclair or whether it's on Fox or wherever, how often do I have to hear, why aren't you going to call this out by Democrats? Whatever it is. If any Democrat does anything anywhere in America, they are expecting Democrats to call it out. But yet, we see where state Republican parties are clearly trying to suppress black votes. And now we're saying, well,
Hold on. But this ain't just black.
question,
No. They trying to suppress young voters.
Right.
Hell, elderly voters.
Didn't they do something regarding colleges and not trying to have people
ending
register
early
at
voting?
their dorms?
Oh my God!
They're trying to shut down early voting.
The reason Melick needs to stop trying to be a troll right now.
It's not being a troll. I've condemned voter
your
suppression
party
on your show
Your
before.
party literally.
You want me to own things about my party that I'm just not willing to own.
I don't want you to own it. I want you to be honest.
You saying that
I want you to stop lying.
Is the party of voter suppression?
They are.
It's not something that I'm going to accept. I disagree.
You're not responsible.
I disagree
When a
on
federal
this show with voter suppression.
when federal judges rule,
when federal judges rule
that North Carolina Republicans targeted black folks with a laser-like approach,
Republicans in North Carolina.
I did not hear a single peep out of any national Republican calling it an abomination, saying that is wrong, saying that is undemocratic, saying that is unfair.
I don't know if they said it or not.
No, they didn't.
Well,
Hold up. We've covered it. We've covered it, and they ain't said nothing. Kelly, go ahead.
The fact that this case made it all the way to a court also shows just how much time it took for it to get there. This was not an easy thing. This was not a quick thing,
Kelly,
which also
this was
means
the 22nd time
That's what I'm saying.
a state or federal court has said, y'all, this some damn gerrymandering.
And that's what I'm trying to say. So all of this evidence and no evidence of Republicans saying, hey, don't do that. In fact, we have the opposite. We have
I don't know if that's true or not. That's probably an exaggeration.
Republicans saying
but
in North
so
Carolina,
no Republican has ever spoken out about any of this.
Hold up. Wait. Hold up. Melick, I'll help you out. When Colin Powell was invited to North Carolina by the previous governor, who was a Republican, Colin Powell called out the Republican governor and Republicans' efforts to suppress the vote.
I remember that.
Republicans got mad at him. Let me say this again, y'all, because again, I've been covering this issue since I've had a national show in 2009. Okay, I got NABJ's National Journalist of the Year because of my coverage on voter suppression. So I ain't sitting here just throwing stuff out. Let me get y'all to understand how callous, how evil, and how sick the Republican Party of North Carolina is. Now the National Republican Party has said nothing. Federal court rule, laser-like precision, targeting black voters. Republicans in North Carolina asked for the data to show when do black people vote early. They showed that 70% of African Americans voted in the first week of early voting. Guess what the Republicans in North Carolina did? They stripped nearly all early voting in the state until reduced it to one location in each county in the first week. This is the same party that also moved early voting locations off of college campuses because they were like, too many of them who are voting. This is the same party. North Carolina, y'all, used to be on the bottom. Just so y'all understand, North Carolina used to be on the bottom of voter participation. 2008, Obama runs, wins North Carolina by 14,100 votes, flips that whole state. Republicans like, oh, hell no. They immediately begin to change the rules, aided by winning in 2010. In North Carolina, they used to have actually civic classes that would teach North Carolinians who were 16 and 17 to prepare them when they turn 18. Republicans in North Carolina got rid of the classes, okay? Voter ID. We can go down the line. What happened there? Now, why is Mellick wrong about his whole party? Because his party saw what North Carolina did. So guess what? Texas did their own deal, led by Republicans there. Alabama, Maine. Let me tell you what they did in Maine. In Maine, they had automatic same-day registration if you voted, when you went and vote. The Republicans in Maine got rid of it. Y'all, they didn't ask nobody. They just got rid of it. The voters in Maine said, what the hell is this? Put it back on the ballot the next election and voted it back in. I can show you state by state how Republicans have tried to manipulate the vote. Y'all, do y'all forget 2012 when the Obama campaign had to sue Ohio when we're in Board of Elections in Ohio where Republicans had a majority? They extended the voting hours in Ohio, but in the counties where we had Democrats, they actually limited. They got sued, and the Secretary of State, Republican, he had to admit in court, yeah, that's kind of unfair to have extended voting hours in Republican counties and shorter voting hours in Democratic counties. We can go, Florida, again, we can walk this thing down state by state. The Republican Party fully embraces voter suppression and all of those tactics. And see, what Mellick wants to do is play games by saying, oh, no, there's no sheet of paper that says we love voter suppression. Folks, I can judge you by your actions. And the reality is your party, as a party, has not said jack. Not Reince Priebus, not Roland McDaniel Romney, none of them. Not Trump, because you know why? Y'all benefit from voter suppression, and that's why your party supports it.
Well, I don't know if that's the answer or not, but as I've said on this show, I don't support any effort to suppress the vote.
Right, so, you don't, but your party does.
As a member of the party, I do know that I do not own the fact that that's something that the party does.
But Mellick, you can say it's not right.
It's not a
Mellick, you can say it's not right, and I'm cool with that, but you can't be in denial about your party.
Support that. And there are people that I know in the party who also don't support.
Guess what? And none of y'all are the RNC chair.
Well,
none of y'all are the vice chair.
Well, ask them their opinions on it.
We have.
Ask them their
Mellick, I had Reince Priebus
not just
on the Tom Joyner Morning
media
show,
apparatus
and we have.
Why don't they ask them
have
about those issues?
And they all support it.
All of them. They all support
because they all support it.
I don't represent the RNC.
Your party supports it.
They should ask them those questions if they
your party supports it.
All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
All right, folks, this Friday, if you're going to be in Atlanta, I'll be there. You don't want to miss me at the Ride Money in Motion Conference at the Loudermilk Center, moderating a panel about access and ownership, sponsored by Bangi, the only African-American owned publicly traded cannabis organization in the world. I'll be on the panel. Matthew Knowles, Bonita Money, Ryan Mack, and the whole Bangi family will be front and center discussing entry into the multi-billion-dollar and growing cannabis industry and how you can become a distributor, shareholder, or cannabis landlord. If you're interested in making money in this booming industry, then I promise you don't want to miss this. Our panel is going to be at 2:30, but for a full list of other panels, activations, and tickets, please visit ride.rollingout.com. Ride.rollingout.com. And so you don't want to miss it again. As this Friday in Atlanta, and you certainly don't want to miss it. I want you guys to be there because why? Everybody keeps talking about expungement, which is critically important, but this is a $340 billion global industry, and black folks should be on the front end of making money when it comes to cannabis, as opposed to us having to spend money because our people were thrown in jail for selling it. And so, again, we will certainly want to have you guys at that. And so that's taking place again this Friday in Atlanta. So please don't miss it. All right, folks.
Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video.